All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Lab. With you for this episode, you have Lou, Brandon, and Trotter. We hope you guys took, a few good points from last week's episode talking about programming in the rehab setting. Again, if anyone ever has any questions, if you're a physical therapy student, you're in the gym, and you have questions about programming for athletes in the rehab setting, physical therapists, reach out to us. Let us know. We'll be more than happy to have a discussion with you about that. But just to kind of follow up that topic on more of like the strength side and maybe even more as like an athlete side. But let's say you did get injured and now how do I go about the process of working with this? What am I going to do? I should just hang up the cleats and call it a day, right? And just never think about attempting any kind of health or wellness or fitness thing ever again. Correct? Right? No. Right. We've all been there. We've all experienced some form of injury, setback, aggravation, all the above, you name it. We're just going to talk little tips and strategies about maybe how to work around those curveballs life or training sometimes throws at us. I guess if you guys want to, we can talk about maybe some personal examples first, and maybe we don't have to name any kids in particular, but like what maybe we've done to kind of help them stay in the gym, keep active, and keep everything up here still going in the right direction. Who wants to lead off in terms of like personal injury and like working around, I guess, that setback?
Oh, Trotter's probably got more than I do.
I don't know, back boy.
Yeah.
You can
No,
probably
my
talk
back's
about.
solid.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like I relate pretty well to like all of our ACL patients just because I've been there, done that. Well, one of the things that drives me like the most nuts, but I think it's just a jealousy thing, is the advancement of surgeries just in like the time that since I've had one. So I tore mine in 2011 and had surgery the same year. So I have like, the big like 6-inch, 9-inch scar or whatever it is. So that was terrible to go through, but it helps me relate a lot like to the kids that are going through it now. Like I can definitely put myself back there. And one of the things that helped me more than anything else was just like having trust in a coach. Just to know that like, okay, like he's pushing me, but it's for like a good reason. And it's because like he knows that I'm capable. So when I was doing the rehab, I was lucky enough to have like the Toledo like pay for it or whatever. But then like my rehab was like all on my own, so I had to go like through the hospital. And I remember that I was laying next to like on the table a like 70-year-old man that had a knee replacement, and we were doing the same things. And and me at this time, 2011, I just turned 19, 20,
18.
something like that.
We would all I'm August. You're October?
October. Speaking of, it's
Almost
coming up
19.
on the anniversary of it. I tore it on Martin Luther King Day.
Oh
So,
gosh.
yeah. But, so, and then I remember I was just so frustrated because for that semester, I was on crutches for 14 out of the 16 weeks. And like that was like pre-surgery, like I tore it, walked around all the time, like on crutches, had surgery, back on crutches kind of thing. And then I went home and I had reached out to my strength and conditioning coach from high school, who was a PT as well, Greg Schultz. And he just like, yeah, dude, I'll take you in, like come in tomorrow. Like, I mean, he like cleared his schedule. He got me in and he had me up and sprinting within like 3 weeks, and
That's
I was
awesome.
like 4-5 months, like post-op, something like that. So a lot of the times, like I think some of the kids think that I'm being hard on them, but it's like it's their own mind that's like holding them back because
Mhm.
it's never going to feel the same, and they have to know that, and you have to be able to like work around that.
True. True.
Yeah.
How
So
about you, oh untainted one?
I'm kind of dealing with one right now, actually. Rolled my ankle pretty good on a trail run on this past weekend, so I've been kind of hobbling around a little bit on that, dealing with that. It's kind of swelling and bruising, nothing like like surgery related, but like just kind of annoying. It's like the starting a new training cycle. You kind of want to hit it hard type thing, and then all of a sudden you got like this little mishap. So a lot of the kind of adjustments so like my original plan was I was going to do a lot of elevated reverse lunges. Can't really quite plant and turn on that foot on an elevated reverse lunge, so I've had to switch to Bulgarian split squats, so I can kind of roll that ankle around with no pain. Obviously, trying to get back into running, so that's been kind of limited. So I've been, oddly enough, like prowler sled sprints doesn't really irritate it enough, so I've been kind of adding those in, but it's not like I got a detrimental injury to where I like have to dramatically change all my programming. It's just kind of one of those things that happen, annoying. Just kind of gotta go through the healing process, do what you can, make the small adjustments, and then kind of roll from there. But I've never really had any major ACLs or just kind of the annoying little pitches or minor strains and things like that. But so I'm not really a go-to guy on this kind of
topic. Listen to him just mocking this. I've never really been hurt.
I mean, yeah, dude. I tell people all the time I would never wish that upon like anybody. Like I remember when I did it, I still remember the feeling. I remember like going into shock, like trying to fill out paperwork. Like it was like not fun. Like, I mean, wanting to throw up like instantly, getting your knee drained. Like, no, I'm cool on all that. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy.
That sounds horrible.
But yeah, I mean, the key thing is like there's always a way. Like you can always work around something, like, I mean, you can, there's just, I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard topic to talk about without like something specific, but yeah, there's always different ways to work around things. And I think that's what, like, also I could call it, I mean, cause I don't know, so I'll just say it, but I think that's what sets us apart as well, is because like, we have a ton of coaches that have had injuries and like scars to prove it kind of thing. So we can relate, like it's a lot of coaches, they almost like turn the blind eye or like turn the cheek to like injured athletes. But in my experience, the most dedicated athletes are the ones that have gotten injured and came back, because like they have that drive. Like even when though like I'm down a limb, like I'm still going to show up and work. So I always got a soft spot in my heart for the serious injured.
Oh, that's too funny. I guess if you want to get more into specifics on like modifications and things of that nature, I mean, Brandon did actually kind of a great job of kind of explaining. I've also heard, Brandon, you've been toying around with that midfoot trainer.
Midfoot trainer.
Yeah, the little wood block with the little midfoot mover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell a little bit more about that.
Well, when I first looked at it, I'm like, I don't really know what this is, but I want to make some shit up with it. But it turns out I was doing it right, because I've never seen it before. It was kind of nice. So, like, I got a basketball player that just always rolls ankles. Like, we spent so many times just stiffening up his ligaments and tendons and, going through all the pre-ankle rehab. And AJ walks into this thing. I'm like, all right, so we're going to just work on stability with it. So it's kind of like it kind of pivots on a swivel. The heel's kind of in place, and then you can kind of rock from like maybe big toe to small toe. And it just kind of just pivots on that axis. So we kind of did some balance work on it, just working on kind of like inversion, eversion of the foot. And then we did some just to kind of get like the stability part of it, kind of getting everything activated, because he did recently just roll it again. The resilience of it though, yeah, before like he rolls an ankle like he did because he went up for a ball. Guy came down and he had landed on somebody's ankle and it just almost looked like he snapped it in half. So for him to be able to like just kind of almost walk it off and get back on the game, his ligaments and tendons becoming more resilient. So stuff we're doing is working, which is good to see. But it was still pretty sore, so we just kind of did some activation stuff, just going back and forth with that. And then we did some skater squats on it. And then the purpose of that was to not let either the big toe or the little toe hit the ground. So you kind of have to work on like equal pressure throughout the whole 3 points of pressure on the foot. And you can definitely tell that one side, man, it was just kind of shaking all over the place versus this healthy ankle. He had no problem kind of going up and down. So it's kind of a cool little device.
Isn't it awesome? So I've been torching a certain someone with that for the last 2 weeks. It's been a good time.
Yeah, I told him I'm gonna have to hop in on that ankle program with him.
Game on. Game on. No, it's a good time. Um, I guess personally over the last, so maybe let's see here, just before Christmas, I had been attempting a 1 rep max on a sumo deadlift, but like almost like just outside of frog stance, so just kind of going a little wider, and I just right up the center of my back felt it. I had hit a PR, shouldn't have pulled again, wasn't smart. Got a little antsy, wanted to see more in the bar, just ego got me there. But then after that, as I've kind of been going through the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been working with less percentages. So I think I've only probably gravitated maybe between, I want to say 50 to 65%. But then what I've been doing to kind of make the, I guess, difficulty change is I've been using tempos, I've been using more eccentrics, and then I've also been kind of, just so it's not so hard on me getting off the ground, I've also been doing like a reverse band deadlift so I could still put some load into my hands, but then it doesn't affect me off the ground. So actually I've been feeling significantly better after New Year's. Fantastic. Just pulled off the ground today. Felt great. So I'm feeling pretty froggy again. Probably going to be smarter than I was before. But I mean, balancing, like you want to push things, but then other things like the PT brain where it's like, don't do that. Like be smart, like load it correctly. It's like, no. But those are just a few things I've done. I mean, we talked about that even in last week's episode with Dave and I, just finding modifications, being able to take things and just, pardon my language, but don't be a dumbass. So like, obviously if something's irritated, you're not going to go trying to drive through that at a higher percentage, right? Just not a smart move. So if you can take those things and still keep in the gym, you can still keep moving forward without having such a setback. I think the one thing that I think, I don't know if you guys got this when you were younger, but I remember when, if you got hurt, they basically wanted you to like, you weren't in the gym, you weren't running, you weren't doing anything. It was like basically cut everything, even if it was like a minor thing. It was like, nope, cut everything out, not going to do anything. And that used to mess with me a ton. Like I remember when I broke my ribs my senior year in high school and I could do nothing. I was miserable. It was probably one of the darkest moments in my life where it was like I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, what the hell do I do with myself? Like I literally didn't know what to do with my time. It was the weirdest thing. Because you go from go, 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 go to, oh, I'm eating dinner with my family, I'm watching TV. Like this isn't bad, but like I would much rather be up at weightlifting, like winter lifting. That would have been way more fun. Or getting ready to go like to the next practice, or like indoor, like go up to like when I used to train at fast, I wanted to go up to fast, and like it was always no, like I'm not gonna do that right now. It's like, geez, peace. This is just miserable. So like I guess how have you guys steered athletes more in a positive direction when they do have injuries? Like what's your, I don't want to say like your spiel, but like how do you guys talk them down off a ledge? Because I know there's a lot of different personalities in the gym, and sometimes it's you got to change how you word things without kind of being mean.
Man, again, that's like one of those where it's just like subject to change, like based on the person. You kind of need to be able to like read their body language, and you have to really take a step back and understand that like they probably don't want to have this conversation with you, so like they're very vulnerable. So like
Mm-hmm.
you need to like let them know, or like oh, what's the word for it? Like console them, I guess, and like just tell them that like you're not here to judge, like you're here to help. Like
Mm-hmm.
we all understand that there's a time and a place for this stuff. This is just a bad day. It's not a bad life. So just being able to like just be there for them, because sometimes that's all they need. They don't want a friend and they don't want a parent. They kind of just want an in-betweener. And I feel like that's just the different hats that we have to wear, which I'm very thankful to constantly be switching hats. So
How about you, Brandon?
No, kind of what he said. It kind of depends on the kid. Also, some of them you can be a little bit more realistic with them. Some of them you kind of got to favor them a little bit. So I mean, a lot of the kids that we come in there, I mean, they're tough, resilient kids, man. You just got to say, hey, this is the storm you're in right now. There's nothing you can do that can change it. You know, you can do the bare minimum and drag this thing out longer than what it needs to be, or you can overdo it and drag it out longer. Just do what we ask. Let's get it over with as quick as we can. I mean, because no matter what you do, it's not going to change. What's happened happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, once the injury's already happened, the only thing you can do is move forward from that point. So it's like, I'm not going to tell you how to feel and say, you know, you can't grieve over the moment. You can't feel bad in that moment, but then take your time, experience those feelings, move forward. Like you gotta start making an action plan going forward. Plus, I feel like once you make a plan, you kind of feel like you have a little bit, kind of like what Brandon was saying one day. You can control what? Can't control people. There it is. So, I mean, if you can control what you can control, you'll feel like you have some semblance of going in the right direction. Can't control the healing time, so might as well make the most of it while you can. That's half the battle sometimes, but
yeah, I just think like a lot of people, they forget that sometimes these kids, like their sport is their whole life and their identity in the moment that they are in life. So, you know, like when I see like some coaches just kind of like just like push them off, you know, because it's just like not my problem right now. It irks me just to like no end. And it's just like, dude, I mean, like, you know, like just how like I always like I'll talk to my wife about it, like the high school drama, you know, like some of these kids get in, but like in the grand scheme of things, like when we're talking about it, it's like, man, they have no idea that this is like the easiest part their life's gonna be. But like to them, you know, it's that's their whole life. Like everybody in that building is like their friends to the death. But you know, you just got to let them wait it out for 5-10 years after they graduate, and then they don't talk to them people ever again. And here we are.
everything is such a big problem when you're 17.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, it's awesome. No, I hated that. I'm not gonna lie. No, I think you guys do a pretty good job of, you know, setting the example, being the open line of communication in the gym is always a wonderful thing. I think you guys do a wonderful. I mean, I've heard nothing but high praise from my patients that I've had in the clinic from you guys, and vice versa. I actually have a few people that are starting up there right now over at No Name, and they've absolutely just been they've been having fun. They like it a lot, so it's good. Anything else you guys want to add on working through injuries? And I guess maybe any other little tips or tricks?
It's like, well, we'll use like one of our college volleyball players, for instance. She's just had horrible ankle surgeries, kind of. So, I mean, just because like one part of that leg is immobilized or needs to rest or whatever it may be, doesn't mean like the next joint up, you know, so you can still work the quad, you can still work the hamstring, you can still work the hip. So you can definitely, whether it's a knee injury, you can still work the hip, you can still work the ankle. So that's just because that one part or that one joint is just kind of done and useless. So you can still work around it in that aspect. You can still do unilateral training. You can still do all that kind of stuff. Just a lot of times, just being in the gym setting, like Trotter said, kind of going with that 70-year-old versus kind of working back with his old strength coach. I mean, it's a big mindset game too to help these athletes get over it quicker.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm like forever like grateful for that. So the least that I can do is try to replicate that for, you know, the athletes that we have and our future athletes and stuff like that, you know, because there's nothing better than watching an athlete that's been away for a while or like, you know, off to college and coming back and then just like watching them just regain all of their confidence all over again. It's like, I don't know. It almost gets us like a trip down memory lane kind of thing. Cause like, you know, I mean, we have a ton of memories with all these kids, you know, so every graduation season, dude, it gets harder and harder.
No, that's good.
Yep.
No. Dang. I guess to kind of close out the episode then is, if you're an athlete or if you've been a former patient and there's something that you're struggling with while you're away at school, don't hesitate to reach out. If you feel like you're struggling with that, like don't mellow on it. Uh, we always got our phones. So if you guys ever need anything, touch base with us. We'll be more than happy to discuss the process with you, talk you down, whatever you need. Unless it's like 3 a.m.
Don't call me.
Yeah.
I'm probably up.
Yeah, shit's on silent.
Brandon will be up at 4, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm done waking up that early. Forget it.
No, but always in your corner, guys. Always here for you. All right. But hope you guys enjoyed these last, 2 weeks of episodes with, talking about programming in the rehab setting, but then also just kind of how do you go about working around an injury. So we will see you guys in the next episode. All right. Take care.